Hello, I'm Laura Axelson and this is Radio eSTENO. Today, I'm going to share with you a little presentation Mark Kislingbury did for my AtoZ class that I thought you would find interesting. So please have a listen and enjoy.
Make it harder. Having kids makes it harder. Being married makes it harder. But people have overcome all of those things. It just makes it harder. That's also, if there was a way you didn't have to work, that would be great. But if you have to work, you have to work, and there's no way around it. I have a friend who went to court reporting school at night. I forget how many days a week, a few days a week. I think he took about 2 years, and he taught high school English during the day and had a wife and child, and he still made it as a court reporter. He even got to where he competed in speed contests and real-time contests. That's Jeff, Laura. Jeff Benz. Do you remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it has been done. That's about all I have to say about that.
Okay, so just maybe a little, I know his time is limited, everybody, so get your questions in your head, but maybe just like a 2-minute intro
I have till about 15 after, I think, so we can plan our time.
Okay, great. So a little bit about why you opened your school, having to do with the needs you saw for short theory?
Yes. Sometime in the 90s, schools were pushed toward writing everything out. And before that, it was always kind of a debate, or you'd have schools that taught a lot of briefs, schools that were moderate, and schools that didn't, and all of them could graduate people, but I think the shorter writing schools graduated more people, but it wasn't that clear apparently at the time. But in the 90s, most schools started going toward writing everything out with few shortcuts. And I felt that was a huge mistake. And I think that's been borne out by the shortage we have today. I believe as a result of the past 25 years, most schools not producing many graduates because of writing everything out. And I was fortunate. I went to a school where they taught us a lot of briefs. I didn't even learn all of them that they taught us. And then throughout my career, I kept shortening my writing because it made my life easier. And that's what helped me to start winning real-time contests and speed contests. And so I realized that the reason I'm having success is not because I'm more talented than the other people in the country, but that I'm writing shorter. And so it gives me an advantage, a big advantage. And so I've been preaching that to the court reporting world for the past 20 years, and many people have listened, and it's really helped them, including Laura. And Laura's one of the best writers in the country as a result of shortening her writing a lot and working very hard. And so she also, like me, likes to help other people with court reporting, and one of the best ways to help them is to encourage them to shorten their writing. So you all are in AtoZ, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're in AtoZ. You're just going to learn the basics of how to write one-syllable words, basically, which is good. That's the foundation of machine shorthand. But then you'll have to choose a school, and hopefully you'll choose a school where you can write short if you decide to go to court reporting school, and because it gives you a big advantage. So that's why I started a school, because I didn't really want to start a school. I just wanted to tell schools, hey, look what I've done. Look what people who follow me have been able to do. Please, schools, teach the students to write short. And they didn't listen. Almost no schools listened. I don't know why. I guess I'm not very convincing to them. And so I said, all right, then I'm going to just have to prove it myself. I'm going to start my own school and I'm going to prove it. And my school's been around for almost 11 years now, 10 years. We've got a lot of graduates, and they're averaging 2 years or less so far. And meanwhile, several Write It Out schools have closed. I don't know how many have shut down. Laura, do you know?
I don't.
But several have shut down. A lot of them, not a lot of them, several. 2, 3, 4 have closed during that time, if not more. And so we're just doing really well. Our school is. That doesn't mean court reporting is not hard, and it doesn't mean that at my school court reporting is easy. It's not. It's just a lot easier than if you were at a Write It Out school.
Okay, so you've got a question about wondering if you can speak on attending a 2-year college institution like a community college versus a pure court reporting school.
A 2-year community college, as long as they're teaching you a theory that's not writing everything out, then that's good, number one, if they offer you a lot of briefs. Number two, price-wise, that's a good way to go if you're talking price, because the community colleges are cheaper. One thing they can do, though, is they'll give you a lot of general courses that you need to take, and because they're thinking if you don't make court reporting, you can transfer to another major. So I would think you'd have to take more courses that don't relate in a community college, but I could be wrong. You could check that. My school, we try to give you just what you need to know, which is a couple of English courses, a couple of medical courses, a punctuation course, a course that teaches you how to use your CAT software, and then when you're near graduating, a course on how to do the job, the details of actually doing the job of a court reporter. We call that court reporting procedures. And then an internship program that you do when you're almost done. And so that's it. There's no other courses than those. But you may have to take other courses at a community college that maybe aren't necessary. I don't know. But it's not necessarily bad. It could be decent. And as long as they've got it as a 2-year course, I guess that's not bad.
Okay, questions?
Oh, my microphone has been farther away. Is this my microphone that I'm clicking, or is
yes,
it
no,
this
the other
one?
one? No, the other one. First
it's
one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
How about telling us how you're live in person, live online, and online non-live works?
How they work?
Yes, or just
okay.
About them.
Live in person, you're just at the school, and you attend all the classes. And when you get into speed building, we have an online speed building program plus live classes. So you'll do some live speed building classes, but then you'll spend a lot of time on your own using our internet-based speed building programs. If you're live online, you would be just like you are now, sitting in your house with a computer, and you'd attend the exact same classes that the people on site do, but you'd attend them like this, not through Zoom, but through WebEx, which is similar. And you'd do everything the same, except you'd do it at home. And then online, not live, like Chimera. Did I say your name right?
Shamir. I think it's Shamir.
Shamir?
Or Shamir.
Shamir.
Shamir. Okay.
Oh, I didn't
French.
see the E. I thought there was an A.
It's French, and he speaks French.
Chimera.
Shame on you.
I didn't see the end was an E. Chimera. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so like she's going to do, she will also, quote unquote, attend all those classes, but instead she'll watch them on video. And so she won't take any live classes until at all, unless in speed building she happens to be able to sign in during the day. Then she could do some live classes in speed building. But all of her academics and all of theory would be watching videos. And so that's the difference. And we've had graduates in all three areas. I think our fastest graduate was online, not live. And that was Bethany Glover, who lives right there in California. Do you know her, Laura?
I don't.
Oh, you should look her
No,
up.
I should look her up. I sure should.
Yeah, she was something like 1 year and 5 months, and
Wow.
Bethany Glover, and she finished our 9-month theory in about 6 months. She just was really determined. I believe her mother is a court reporter.
Interesting.
So it's possible to graduate with all of them. I used to be against online, just thinking it's better to be on site. Why not? That's what I did. Gosh. But we have so many online students that are doing well that online works. You just have to be dedicated and disciplined, and you have to really show up. You can't skip classes because you're home, you know?
Yeah. Well, I have a question. Is it question time? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have the same question I had our other speaker. I know, so I've been asking people about like their recommendations because, like, you know, I'm going to be working. I know that you have homework daily,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like scared. But I wanted to know, like, because I'll be non-live and I know I get an extra month, does that mean that I have more time to finish homework, or like, is it still daily, or like how does that work? I want to do this full time, but like I'm just trying to prepare my schedule because I just started working.
Yes. On the daily homework, I'm guessing that you need to turn it in daily, even though you have an extra month. But you'd have to ask my school director that. I'm not sure on the rule on that.
Okay.
And the extra month is nice, but which sounds like a lot. But for 3 months to have a fourth month, it's just a little bit more time.
Right.
You know, it's 1/3 more time.
Exactly.
Which is not a ton.
At all.
Yeah.
I think you'll do fine with the homework because it's a certain, if I'm right, it's a certain number of strokes you have to turn in per day. And you can just do those. If you have to get up half an hour earlier, you'll do some in half an hour earlier. And then when you come home, you don't have as much to do. Or maybe, you know, if you're set up at work where you can, like I used to do when I was in Corey Boarding School in 1980, take my machine and have it under my desk, and nobody even knew I was practicing. You know, you'll find a way. I had a student who would go out to her car at lunchtime and write on her machine. So you will find ways to do it. It's just a number of strokes, and those strokes, it's not even that much. How much is it, Mark? Like 4,000 or 3,000? I don't know how much.
It starts with 2,000.
2,000.
It goes up at some point, but I don't remember what it goes up to and when. 2,000
really isn't. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's not that much. So you can do it, and if you have to give up maybe half an hour of sleep in the morning to get half of it done then, and the other half done when you get home.
I have another really quick question that goes along with some of your suggestions. So the job that I started is actually a temporary job. I decided to sign up for different temporary jobs to see what I could handle for school when it starts. And one, the agency had offered, I'm more like with 8 different agencies, so I could see what, like, I'm like that person. And they offered like a data entry remote job, but it's QWERTY data entry for 8 hours. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if you think that would, in my brain, like butt heads with learning, you know, Steno.
Do you already know how to type on the QWERTY keyboard?
Very fast, yeah, like 80 words per minute.
Okay, no, it wouldn't be a problem at all.
Okay.
you learn to use both, and
Okay.
you're already fast. That's about how fast I was when I was in school, was 75, 80.
Yeah.
And you just learn to do both. And in fact, you get to a point where you're writing on the machine, and then you reach up to your laptop and type with the QWERTY, and then come back down to your machine.
Yep.
Oh, snap. Okay. Okay. Thank you for answering those questions.
You're
and
welcome.
for being here. Oh my God.
All right. Any more questions? We have a couple more minutes left. Any more questions about the school, about the theory? Why the heck am I keeping on promoting it? You can ask the person who invented it why I am so stuck on it.
I have a question. So I recently purchased the Magnum Steno textbook, and I noticed that, because I know I want to do that theory no matter where I go. I noticed that it's the 4th edition. So I was wondering, how are you coming up with your new editions? Is that because you're learning to write shorter as you continue on, or how is like the Magnum Steno theory like evolving?
That's a great question. A lot of it is every year that I teach, I realize, oh, we should have moved this word to here. We never even taught this word. We got to put it in. And then there's typos. We've got typos in there, and it's a very hard book to proofread. And honestly, I never did proofread it, so there are a few typos, but we notice them, and I take note of them every year, and the next edition doesn't have the typo. And so a few new things do get invented as well. For example, Laura, have you seen the ought to phrases?
Oh, yeah.
The ought to have been added, and
According to
was added. Thank you. Yeah. So we do invent some new things and put them in as well. And I also will change some things. I'll just decide, you know what, this would make more sense to the students. Let's switch these two around, that type thing. So that's the difference.
Well, thank you.
It's mostly adding words to earlier chapters is what it is mostly. But it's the same. I mean, you'd learn just as well if you used a 2nd edition or 3rd edition.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, one more question we have time for. One more question. Shamir, come on. You know you
have a question.
Okay, good. There we go.
Sorry.
Great. Go.
So is your school theory the dictionary you built over time, or did you create most of it in school, your dictionary?
That's a great question too. The school I went to didn't name the theory, so it's kind of a combination of Philadelphia Clinic and Sten Ed. And it's a mix of those, and they gave us lots of briefs and phrases. So I pretty much kept the basics of what I learned, and it turned out that it was a very good method that they taught us. They didn't really know it. They didn't know they had a great method. But I didn't have to undo anything in the theory. And so, but I kept adding and shortening. So the very basics of it is what the theory I learned. And then the dictionary itself, they only gave me about 1,200 words when I graduated. So it was almost worthless, the dictionary. So I've built 99.9% of that dictionary myself. And it's huge. It's 740,000 entries or something like that.
Okay, so
Is the time for questions?
it's actually 4:15.
I can stretch to one more.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, it's quick. So I heard when I was looking for an actual machine that you use both Lightspeed and a Luminex, and I was wondering which one you prefer.
I prefer the Lightspeed because it's less movement. It's very little movement at all. The Luminex is good, has very little movement. I haven't tried the machine Laura has, which is an Expression. Am I right, Laura?
Yes.
made by ProCat. And did they have it on a real short stroke too, Laura?
It can go pretty short. I don't know if it's as short as I've never had a Luminex, so I don't know how it compares to that, but it can go pretty short, yeah.
And she loves that machine, so I'd throw that in there as a choice if you wanted to make a choice.
Okay. Thank you.
There's one the question that I missed. Would you say that to become a court reporter faster if you attend a court reporting school versus the community college? Back to the community college question. Would it be faster if you're just at a straight court reporting school?
You would think the answer would be a court reporting school, but it depends on which court reporting school and which community college.
And I think which theory. It's the theory that's
and
important.
Which theory. That's a big thing, yes. Yes. My theory takes longer to learn, but it makes you have stronger fundamentals, and then it makes your speed building much faster. The other schools that write things out, their theory is easy to learn, but then you don't have a powerful foundation, so then it's really hard to speed build. That's it in a nutshell. I
like to tell people, if you learn the Steno or equivalent theory, it takes you shorter time, but you spend the rest of your life trying to fix it and shorten it. If you learn the Magnum Steno or another short theory, takes you longer to learn it, but you're happy for the rest of your life.
Yes, that's very true. Good. That's a good one, Laura. I need to remember that. Okay, so, you guys are in good hands with Laura Axelson. She's a wonderful person and very sacrificial toward students and reporters. And have a great time, and thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks for coming.
I'll come on again sometime too.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.